Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. This meeting is scheduled basically to discuss the government program single case agreements project. So the agenda of the meeting is to briefly introduce the project to everybody, to introduce the key stakeholders, and then go over the existing and new proposed process, understand the risks associated, and then with brief summary and question answers, we will close the meeting. So, as we all know, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield is one of the largest managed care healthcare organizations, and it serves for more than 500,000 individuals across New Jersey. But this project is basically related to the single case agreements for Medicaid and Part D SNP. But the question here would be what a single case agreement is. So, single case agreements is a contract between Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield and out-of-network providers for specific patients that will allow the patient to avail in-network benefits from the out-of-network provider. So depending on whether it's a standard or non-standard SCA or the type of negotiation, there will be different processes related. So, but the existing SCA process includes a lot of back and forth emails between the negotiator and the review team and the health services team, and then updating each time in the Excel sheet on a regular basis. And it is even more cumbersome when the volume is high, and the volume is pretty high in this case. It is above 1,000 SCAs per day. That makes it even more difficult to handle the data manually. So our new proposed process flow is to streamline the total flow, eliminating the repetitive back and forth emails, and improve the productivity and efficiency of the process by automating the update process. So here's the list of key stakeholders. So EJ will be our project sponsor. He holds a bag of money for us. So he's Senior Director for Government Programs and Supervisor for all government programs. Project owner would be Edward Radwanski. He is Director for Government Programs and he supervises the SCA process. Then we have Brianna Brown. She is lead for Health Services team. And then we have Sandy Kelly. She is Director for Department of Underwriting. And we have Dana Kelly, who is Assistant to Director for Department of Underwriting. So as we all know, healthcare is highly regulated. So we need the expertise from Sandy and Dana to guide us so that we are compliant with DOBI rules and state and federal under regulations. So Sandra Leaf is the SCA process coordinator who supervises the overall process of SCA and handles the data and reporting. So we have 4 negotiation teams based on type of SCA. Ancillary SCA is supervised by Joanne Roster. Hospital SCA is supervised by Devon Bruce. Behavioral health SCAs are supervised by Laurie Bambi. And physician SCAs are taken care of by Jennifer Alameda. Deepika Grover, myself, I'll be the project management who will be managing the project overall, be it the communication management, be it the communication with the stakeholders, resource planning, tracking on time, everything. So if you have any queries, I'm the person to reach out to and I'll take care of it. So then project lead would be Kiran Nori. He's the program manager for BPM and architecture designer for the proposed process flow. He'll be the lead for the developers. And Prachi Arora will be the business system analyst who will be taking the requirements and will be working closely with the developers, testers, and myself. So let's understand what the existing process is. So existing process is a health services team prepares a SCA and authorization template by themselves manually, and then they send it to negotiator. Negotiator updates the negotiation and sends it to manager. So manager takes an action and sends it back through email to the negotiator. This email is secured, but negotiator looks at it. If it is approved, negotiator updates the Excel sheet. If it's not approved, it updates the SCA and then sends back again to manager. And this process continues until the manager approves the SCA. Once the manager approves the SCA, the negotiator updates the Excel sheet, sends it to the director, director reviews it, either approves it or rejects it and sends it back to the negotiator. So until director approves it, it will not move forward. Once director approves it, negotiator updates the Excel sheet again and sends it for finance review. And then once finance review approves, negotiator will update the Excel sheet and send it to the provider for signature. Once it receives back from the provider for signature, it will again update the Excel sheet and then may or may not send for legal review depending on comments from the provider. So once it's approved by legal, it'll go for management review, final signatures from Ed and EJ. And then once it's approved by management, it is then sent to provider and also to the health services team after updating the Excel sheet. And the health services team, then they update the facets for further claim adjudication. So you see, this process involves back and forth emails to the negotiator, and which is hard to track, and the updates in Excel sheet, it even poses more risk for loss of data and errors. So we have this new proposed SCA workflow. So this is more automated. So to understand this flow, so we have these user tasks. Rest of the task will be taken care of by the system. This symbol indicates a system task. So as soon as user enters the BPM portal, they'll click on a button and the SCA template and authorization will be created. It will be a predefined template. They just have to fill in certain details and send it to the negotiator through a click of a button. They don't need to do emails back and forth, so data is updated automatically. So negotiator adds negotiation and sends it to manager if manager approves. And then the system will itself determine whether it's a standard SCA or non-standard SCA. If the manager doesn't approve, it will go to rework to the negotiator and for updating the SCA. But once the manager has approved it, the system will determine whether it's a standard SCA or not. If it's a standard SCA, the system will move it to the provider queue for signatures, and it will go out of the door to the provider for signature with the letter. And if it's not a standard SCA, that means it's a non-standard SCA, then it will go for the director review. Then system will see whether the director approves it or not. If the director has clicked on approve, it will go to the finance review itself. It will not go to the negotiator as it was going on the existing process flow. So it will go to the finance review. Once finance approves, it will go to the provider for signature. So if the finance doesn't approve, it will go for rework by the negotiator. So once the provider signs and sends it back to us, the team will upload the SCA, and depending on whether the provider has made some comments or not, the team will send it for the legal review or the management review. If they send it for legal review, if legal approves, it will go from EJ and at signature, that's management review. And if they don't approve, it will again go for rework to the negotiator. Once management signs it, the executed SCA will be sent to provider. BPM process ends here, but also there will be a backend notification sent to health services team with all the process that has been updated in the database. And health services will then manually update the facets for that. Now the question will be, while we are automating everything, why are we not automating the update integration with the facets? So since facets is a totally different team that is scheduled for the next phase. So in phase 1, we will be automating till notifying health services, and phase 2 will be integrating with the facets. So now the question is, are there any risks associated with this new proposed flow? So there are no major risks associated with it, but yes, user team might be a little resistant to the change because some people are not that tech savvy and from years they're used to do the manual work. But this can be taken care of by the demos before we go live, and also our BPM team supports the team after few months after we go live. So it should take care of that. And since it's highly regulated and cumbersome process, there are chances that some requirements can be missed. So our business analyst will closely work with all the stakeholders to gather all the requirements. And yes, testing environments is another issue. I would say not an issue, but yes, it requires time for these kind of data setups. So we would plan accordingly so that we have enough time for testing too. So a brief summary. So as we have gone over existing process and new proposed flow, we know existing process, there is a lot of repetition, back and forth emails, no compliance, low productivity, more errors. So with the new proposed flow, we don't have any repetition of steps. It's more streamlined, easy to track as it's getting automatically updated in the database, and it's highly productive, less errors, and completely compliant. So we strongly recommend this. Any questions? If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on my email on the screen. Thank you. Good night.